Look at this ridiculous stack of books. And Bert, I blame you. Heather, Sean, also guilty. So I wasn't sure if this year I was going to focus on Shorty September. I've been really big on mood reading lately. It's really working out for me, letting one read lead to the next read, lead to the next read. Very much like in the Blue Tent by Richard Gwynne, you know, one book leads to another. And I've just kind of been letting it happen organically, let my interests flow. So I haven't been doing TBRs. But last year I did participate in Shorty September, loved it. The prompts are really fun. I love that the prompt list or tracker is so artistic. Last year was kind of like a grid, kind of like a bingo board with some different types of shorts sketched on it. This year we have this beautiful collage. So the visual part of Shorty September comes from Soggy Expat Book Nerd. We'll link her. And of course, Shorty September began with Bert and Sean of Past Story Time, so their announcement video will also be linked. So what I've decided is not to really make myself a TBR list, but I have rounded up a bunch of books I think could work for one or several prompts, and we'll see just what gets read. And then I'm not going to fill it out ahead of time. I'm going to write in, so there's a little space for the titles. I'm going to write it in as I read, as I finish books, and decide where they fit. I will put here each of the prompts. I'm going to read them off, and then we will go through my bag of books, and I'll show you the titles. I'm trying not to get too talky about them, maybe brief descriptions if I can keep it succinct, and what prompts they might work for. So first prompt, Shorty Shorts, read a book from the 70s or 80s. Number 2, Denim Shorts, read a modern classic. Number 3, Playsuit Shorts. I would call them jumpers, or no, rompers. The one piece shorts. A book you might regret later. Number 4, Half and Half Shorts. Read a book and then watch the movie film adaptation. Number 5, Cargo Shorts. Read a book that has something to do with nature. 6 is Skirts, right? The skirt shorts. Read a book that mixes genres or doesn't fit into a specific genre. 7 is Ripped Shorts, a slasher or murder mystery. 8 is Lifeguard Shorts, a beach read. Number 9, Runway Fashion Shorts, a book with a beautiful cover. Number 10, The Emperor's New Shorts. Read a book with an unreliable narrator. This one is hard to pick ahead of time, but I have several books that I think might work if my guess about how they're written is correct. 11, Boxer Shorts, a comfort read. And the last prompt is Bermuda Shorts, read a translated book. First off, I have this, Whatever Happened to Interracial Love. This is a collection of short stories. Oh, a beach read. They're short stories, so I think this is a good one for a beach day. You read a little bit as you can, jump around, or just pick one or two. Beach read. The Bookshop by Penelope Fitzgerald. This one would be Runway fashion shorts, because I do like the cover. It has books. I think it's beautiful. And also another one that would probably be a comfort read. So boxer shorts, just it's about a woman in a bookshop. How comforting is that? Okay, Pigtopia. This is one I bought on a previous trip to the book barn. It was a cover by, I believe, it's kind of an imaginary world. When I read the synopsis, I get the sense that it's similar to the children's book, A Bridge to Terabithia. There is a boy who is born with a disfigurement. Yeah. He's labeled either a monster or an imbecile by his abusive mother and thoughtless neighbors, but he has a created haven, his Pigtopia, a shelter in his cellar with a tunnel out into the woods. So this could either blend genres or be an unreliable narrator. Let me pull out the other books I was thinking would fit into the unreliable narrator category. Hold on. The Dogs of Babel. In this book, a man's wife is murdered, and he becomes obsessed with the idea that if he can teach his dogs to talk, they can tell him what happened. So that sounds like a narrate. I'm not even sure if it's written in first person, so it's actually the narrator, or if it's just the main character who, in dealing with grief, becomes unreliable. Similarly, The Year of the Hare. And this one, let's see. While out on assignment, a journalist hits a young hare with his car. The small incident becomes life-changing. He decides to quit his job, leave his wife, sell his possessions, spend a year wandering the wilds of Finland with the bunny as his boon companion. Also, this is a translated book. This is translated from the Finnish, so it would work for Bermuda shorts if I'm completely wrong and the narrator is completely reliable. And then lastly, I don't know if this is unreliable narrator. No, I think I put this in the pile because it would be either a genre bender or a book I'm going to regret, because from what I understand, this guy is a complete asshole. But this is about an orphaned Indian boy who travels back and forth through time in a violent search for his true identity. Simultaneously wrenching and deeply humorous, wholly contemporary yet steeped in American history. So sounds like a genre bender. Flight is irrepressible, fearless, and groundbreaking. So I'm intrigued, but I'm not sure I want to read from this author. So maybe I'm just going to regret this, but intrigued. In a Lonely Place. This is actually a Bert recommendation. He recommended this to me on Instagram when there was that like 12 friends recommend 12 books. I did nothing with that so far this year. I don't think anything's going to come of that, but this was his recommendation. So it is a murder mystery thriller, slasher murder mystery. Yeah, a strangler is preying on young women in post-war Los Angeles. So that fits. That was the Ripped Shorts prompt. Also, there is a movie starring Humphrey Bogart and Gloria Graham. So that is the Half and Half shorts. This one, the kids and I are studying the American Revolution and the writing in the Constitution and our homeschool history, government, civics. The Meaning of Independence, John Adams, George Washington, and Thomas Jefferson. This, I'm not exactly sure if it's pieces of their writing or just an analysis of them as historical figures. But talk about unreliable. And a book that I might regret. Here's two more I might regret picking up. The Epic of Gilgamesh and Beowulf, both very short, ancient literature. And or classics, like old. These are translated. I'm reading an adaptation of the Beowulf story. Like, it's not a poem, it's like an actual like chaptered story. Trimmed down, made more exciting maybe, I don't know. I haven't read this since high school, but I'm reading a version with the kids and they're loving it, right? It's just an adventure story. And so we looked up, I explained to them that the original Beowulf is written in Old English, and so we looked up a video of someone reading it in Old English, and their minds were blown that that was English. So obviously, if I'm gonna read it, it's gonna be translated. So Bermuda Shorts, similarly, Bermuda Shorts. And again, might regret picking them up later because that's a lot of brain power. And then along with those, we have Grendel. This might be a modern classic. Could also be an unreliable narrator because this is the monster's point of view, his side of the Beowulf story. Oh, he's a slasher, so ripped shorts. Last year for the slasher prompt, I didn't actually read a thriller or murder story. I read The Harpy. I forgot the author's name. But there was a lot of like harpies of Greek mythology imagery and discussion. And so this would be a very similar interpretation of the prompt in which I'm using a monster known for slashing to fulfill it. Whatever gets it done. Another one I might regret, the story of Lucy Galt. This is an Irish novel about a family living a life of privilege in early 1920s Ireland, but the threat of violence leads the parents of nine-year-old Lucy to leave Ireland for England, her mother's home. Oh, so maybe it's an English novel. I'm not sure if the author is Irish or English. Anyway, Lucy doesn't want to leave because she loves her home by the sea, and so she runs away. And it says she sets off a series of tragic misunderstandings that affect all the inhabitants of Lardane. I'm not exactly sure how to say this Irish town, village, place's name. Just the fact that this centers around a 9-year-old running away and then tragic misunderstandings. As a mother, maybe I'm gonna regret if something happens to this girl, I'm gonna be upset that I'm reading it. I'm going to want to read it. I like books that hurt me, but I might regret reading it anyway. All the same. Forgotten Beasts of Eld. This is fantasy, obviously. Oh, Shorty Shorts from the 70s or 80s. This was written in the late 70s, I believe. Also, I think this is a beautiful cover. Very classic. This was a cover by years and years ago when I picked it up at a Barnes & Noble. It was on the shelf of staff favorites and it jumped out to me. 1974, so early mid 70s. Either way, it works for the Shorty Shorts prompt. Like Water for Chocolate. This is a translated book. There is also a movie, so that would be the half and half prompt. I feel like I should say also, so a shorty is a book under 200 pages, maybe under 250 pages, kind of up to you. A lot of these are in the 250 page realm. One Sunday morning, this is about 4 women who kind of see someone where they shouldn't be and like start gossiping about it. Let's see. In One Sunday Morning, author Amy Effron brilliantly navigates the social contradictions of the Jazz Age New York society and brings a remarkable time and place to glorious life with a riveting drama of gossip, indiscretion, secrets, and betrayal. They see a beautiful young woman whom they all know leaving a nearby hotel with a man who is not her husband. So I don't think this will be a slasher or murder mystery. I think this would be a good beach read. So, Lifeguard shorts. This is Me and Marvin Gardens. This is actually a middle grade book about a boy who finds this weird animal. He's the size of a dog, but he's not a dog. He's got hooves like a pig and claws like a wolf. He smiles. He listens to commands and stories, and he eats plastic. Only plastic. Water bottles, jugs, jug lids, and shopping bags. So there's that like size of a dog, kind of looks like a pig, wolf thing. I think this would probably work for cargo shorts, a book about nature. Just with the like animal creature being a plastic eater, I have a feeling that it's going to be a lot about the environment and helping, protecting, saving the environment. So I think this will work for cargo shorts. I have Oh Pioneers. This was a recent library bookstore purchase. I think this might also include a bit of nature writing. Maybe you can consider this a modern classic. I'm not exactly sure if there's like a certain time period specifically that qualifies something as a modern classic or not. Also, I might regret it later. It's set on the Nebraska prairie, the powerful story of a young girl whose dying father leaves her in charge of the family and the lands they have struggled to farm. An important chapter in the history of the American frontier. If it does speak of Native Americans in an antagonistic way, I'm going to regret it. So, here's what I'm going to regret. So, Playsuit shorts. And again, is this a modern classic? I don't know. It has no cover. This was another library store buy. The Old Man and the Sea by Ernest Hemingway. My dad loves Ernest Hemingway. I usually push back and refuse to read him just based on him as a person, just because I like being contrary. And so if my dad's telling me to read it, I don't want to. But I read Jaws this summer, as you know by now, because I haven't shut up about it on Instagram, a little bit on here. And while I was reading Jaws, it reminded me of another book that, like, I know the story, haven't read in full, Moby Dick, right? Obviously, Jaws is like the modern version of Moby Dick. And so right in the middle of those two would be The Old Man and the Sea. It's short. I bought Moby Dick at the same time I bought these two at that library bookstore. this one seems less daunting, so I could see me getting to this one first. So I'll just work my way backwards through the Manverse fish canon. Mermaid of the Black Conch, Dandelion Wine by Ray Bradbury, and Summer by Edith Wharton. So this is 290 pages, so it breaks that like 250 page threshold, but look at the size of the font. Like, it's nice. I feel like this is a pretty big font and large margins, and so maybe in terms of taking me a short while to read, maybe this will work. If I pull up an audiobook to read with this, which is what I like to do with Ray Bradbury, I usually read him in October, but I think this is a late summer story, so September seems like the time to read it. Summer of 28 was a vintage season for a growing boy, a summer of green apple trees, mowed lawns, new sneakers, half-burnt firecrackers, gathering dandelions, of grandma's belly-busting dinner. It was a summer of sorrows and marvels and gold-fuzzed bees, a magical, timeless summer in the life of a 12-year-old boy named Douglas Spaulding, remembered forever by the incomparable Ray Bradbury. So kind of nature-y. I find Ray Bradbury to be pretty atmospheric and like capturing that summer feeling, which a lot of that has to do with nature. Dandelion, nature, so would work for a cargo short prompt, except that it's not quite shorty enough. Well, actually, it's 239 pages, so it is under 250. But I think he takes me a while to read. I feel like his like line by line writing kind of takes longer to digest, and I do kind of have to go back and reread. I don't know what it is. That's just my experience of reading Ray Bradbury. Oh, I missed one. Okay, I'll go back to it. And then The Mermaid of the Black Conch. I'm not sure if this will be kind of mixed genre, but I wanted to read something about a mermaid over the summer. I had made myself a little bingo board and out of emojis, and mermaid was one of them. So the last thing to complete my summer bingo board would be to read a mermaid story. This book is, looks like it's under 250 pages. So maybe, but again, it's on the longer side of a shorty. And then this one, I totally got lost under some other books, but this is A Part of the Sky. This would be a comfort read. I hate this cover. I specifically ordered a book on Thrift Books that would match. This is the second book. So I ordered one specifically to match the first book that I have, and they sent me this one instead. But this is about, the first book is about a young boy named Rob. I want to say he's like 10 to 12. He is a shaker in Vermont. And just the writing was beautiful. Him living on this farm, his appreciation of the land. They raise pigs. And that story was about him having his own pig and bringing it to the fair to show and win prizes. And in this follow-up book, he is now in charge of the family farm. I just thought the writing was beautiful. So I think this will be a comfort read. That took longer than I wanted it to, but there's no way I'm gonna read all of those in Shorty September. But like I said, each one I think would hit one or several of the prompts. So as I read, I think I'll just fill in instead of kind of going in with assigning a book to a prompt at the beginning of the month. I will just read, have a good time, and then see where they fit, if they fit. that's my plan. Talk to you soon. Bye.